Hello everyone, welcome to week 1 of Build Your Marketing Machine. It's a 5-week program. This is the kickoff call. I recorded the live kickoff call and it did not capture audio, so I am going to walk through this week's action items here. And I'm really excited. The first thing I talked about with the live call was making sure that you're taking the time to sharpen the saw. We all know the analogy of, someone trying to chop down a tree using a dull saw, whereas if they just took, 20 minutes to sharpen the saw, it actually saved them way more time in the long run to chop down the tree. This is your opportunity to sharpen the saw. Take a little time to build your foundations and establish some processes so that the rest of your work is easier, more intentional, and ends up being more efficient because you have your foundations in place. This week, you have specific goals. So I should say, every week you're going to be getting specific goals. Within that week, you can do it at your own pace, right? But the goal is to do the action items within the week period so that the next call, you are ready to move on to the next step. This week, we're focusing on foundations. Everyone is going to be getting a media plan, which is a spreadsheet within Google Sheets. And I will attach the template. And I will share my screen here so we can walk through this template. Okay. So here we've got forecasting and goals. Forecasting is the first tab, and it's the one that we're working on this week. What to be aware of is here you're manually filling in or updating anything in green. If it's not in green, there might be a formula, or sometimes there might be gaps and you can just drag and drop. But let's walk through this. The first thing you're going to want to do, we talked about this in the Business Bestie Brunch, right? We're not going off of gut feelings. We're actually tracking, measuring, and paying attention to the data to guide our decisions. So here we've got 2024 actuals. If you have been in business for a full year, I want you to go back and actually fill in the real numbers. Once we fill those in green, then we'll be going over to 2025 and we're going to be filling in our goals. Let's walk through this together. I'm just going to use made up data here to give you guys an example of how to fill this sheet out. So for example, if last year you made $100,000, that automatically is going to calculate your monthly and your quarterly. I like to be aware of these goals as well because it helps you to break down into more bite-sized goals and just pay attention to closing those gaps within a shorter time period, right? Average order value, let's just say your average order value is $200 and your number of sales, the total sales you had last year was, 1,000, okay? So we've got our 2024 actuals. And now this year, let's just say you want to be fairly aggressive in your growth. You could have, I want to do 150,000. Or you could also, what I often do, will do a percentage. So I want to say I want to grow, 35% year over year. You can, you can put together a quick formula here that just says, 100K plus 35%, so that's 135,000, right? Whatever goal you create, it should be something that is exciting to you and stretches you just a little. Like if you type it in your number, you're like, yeah, okay, like, sure, that would be cool. I haven't done it before, but like you want it to be like, whoa, wouldn't this be cool? I would love if I could achieve that. Could I achieve that? Like you should be questioning just a little bit if it's possible. Those are the kind of goals we're talking about here, okay? Ones that actually get you excited and get you motivated, those are the ones worth chasing. Average order value, let's just say it's going to stay the same, right? And orders needed to hit revenue. This is actually just a formula. So if you hit 675, if you sold 675 of whatever it is you're selling at $200 a piece, you would be at your revenue goal, right? That's what we're talking about when marketing is just math. So here I should actually keep this a formula. Okay, so now with these numbers filled out, it auto-populated some of the things down here. One of those being planned revenue. Planned revenue is simply our monthly, that's our yearly revenue goal divided by our seasonality here. Now, some businesses don't have a ton of seasonality, and some businesses have a lot of seasonality. Like, for example, if you sell mistletoe, you might only be in business for like 2 months out of the whole year, right? But most businesses are going to have some seasonality. If maybe it picks up around holidays, especially maybe Black Friday is particularly busy for you. You can go in here to this plan seasonality section and adjust accordingly. And what this does is it helps you to prepare for moments when there's more natural demand for whatever it is that you're selling. It helps tremendously to take advantage of natural demand, right? There's a lot you can do with marketing to try to create more demand. But if you're selling slip and slides and you decided that you're going to sell the same amount of slip and slides in December as you are in July, it's just going to be a lot harder and a lot more expensive to get the same volume than you in December that you would have in August. So it is worth paying attention to some seasonality. If you don't know this for sure, you can look back at your data and do some rough calculations. But it will help you prepare. So we know that we're selling slipping slides. We know that people start buying slip and slides in May. We know that peak is June. July is another peak, and it starts pulling back and like dropping in August, right? Okay, so maybe our seasonality is like 5% during the slower times, and then it ramps up to being like 20% of the business or whatever it might be, and then pulls back down in Q4. So here, what you're doing with your seasonality is you're just noting, okay, based on seasonality, how much revenue am I expecting to make? Okay, this needs to be boop. So it's just the seasonality percentage times the yearly goal. And I'm going to drag this across so that it all updates. Yep. And also, if you have lead time, that's something else to be aware of. Like, for example, if you're a lead gen business and you know that the number of inquiries you get in March impact the number of sales you get in April, you might want to do something like this. Like, okay, instead of doing 6%, I'm going to do next month. So D16 is actually going to be E16. Right? Because you're planning ahead. If you want to have 10% revenue in April, then you need to be ramping up in March in order to hit your sales goals. So this is customizable according to what you guys need, but you're not going to know how to fill it out until you get started. So don't stress out too much. It's going to be your best guess, right? It's going to be your best try. And then as you go, you're actually going to be adding in your actuals throughout the year. So since, we're already in April, you can add the first quarter's actuals here. And this will help you too, just really get more familiar and more comfortable with your numbers. Okay, so here we've got our monthly revenue goals based off of seasonality. One more thing to be aware of is that over here we have our 100%. So if you're saying, oh, November is actually going to be 15%, well, now we're at 104. Don't hate that we're over goal, right? But just know that you want to be around 100, 101, not under 100. So pay attention to that. Same with here, your total goals. If you're basing it off of your yearly, there's just some like double checks you can make. Like this should actually say 135. So it's because I need to drag this formula all the way across, I believe. No? Okay. I'm going to figure out, it's just because this needs to be H. Okay. There we go. So, as you go, you're filling out your actuals, then your planned sales. So this is just based off of your planned revenue times your average order value. So if your average order value is 200 and you're trying to hit 6,700 that month, right? Then you need to hit 34 sales. Again, just putting some actual numbers around your goals. Now down here we have our primary goals, and these I've talked a little bit about at the Business Bestie Brunch of what are the goals that are going to move the needle. 3 that I usually recommend for most businesses is going to be increasing your average order value, improving your repeat customer rate, and increasing first-time purchasers. So down here we have our monthly benchmarks. This is where you're actually going to go and you're going to say, what were the averages last year? Now, if you're a business with significant seasonality, that might be something to pay attention to, but a lot of businesses can just kind of take an average to create a rough benchmark to be able to evaluate. So if you're like, oh man, I'm feeling like things are so slow this month, you can say, oh, are they actually really slow? What's our expected? What are our benchmarks? And what are we actually at? Oh, we've actually got 10 inquiries and our benchmark is 12. So we are under goal. What can I do to increase those 2, to bump up to 2 or 3, right? So you're going to fill out your actuals here, and then you're going to write down what your goal is. So if your average order value, let's see what this formula is, actual versus sales. Okay, so actual revenue, let's just fill this out really quick for an example. So let's just say you actually made $7,000 and your actual sales were 36. This auto-populated right here to say your average order value was $194. And if our goal was actually to increase our average order value from 200, what we thought was our average, to 220, every month you can be tracking these numbers. And there's something so powerful about just paying attention to what the numbers actually are. As you start tracking them, you'll start to see improvement naturally because you're already just putting the attention in the areas that actually move the needle. You're trying to increase your average order value. Hey, actually, what if we threw on this, like, you might also notice, or we try cross-selling, or we try, we add a new product to our site, or we offer something like an add-on that makes it easy for people to upsell, right? There's all sorts of things that will start opening up to you as you start paying attention to these numbers. And each month you got a little bit of tracking that you're accountable for, right? You need to put in your actual revenue, your actual sales. Seasonality, I actually have it as a formula right now. So it'll tell you, okay, you thought 5%, but your actual seasonality was about 7% of your yearly income came from this month. Okay, so this is the goal for this week is to download this, create a copy. You're not going to be able to edit this version. This is, you're going to have to come up here, edit, make a copy, and copy this to your own Google Drive. Once you make a copy, change the colors, change the fonts, add your logo here, whatever you want to do to just brand it according to your business, make it official, right? Like make this a part of the way that you manage your business. Okay, so you're going to be creating your own version so that you can edit it, rename it, rebrand it to fit your business. The second thing you're going to be doing is you're going to be updating this forecasting tab with your actuals and your 2025 goals. And then you're going to be filling in up through March. So you're going to put in January, February, and March's actual numbers into this and establishing those benchmarks. Feel free to make this your own. Like if you want to change one of the goals, instead of average order value, you want it to be something else, like feel free. But I do want to encourage you to try to come up with 3 leading indicators that will help move your bottom line number. So once you update this tab and identify your 3 KPIs, I want you to go into the Stand community and post what your goals are, what your growth goals are. Like say you want to grow 35%, put that in there. Say you want to track or average order value. Just share some of your thoughts. It helps with accountability and also helps me assist you as you continue to work through your goals. I think there's something to be said too for just putting it out there. It triggers a new level of awareness in your brain as you start typing it out. You're like, actually, I don't know if this makes sense. So put it in the community group as a comment and feel free to engage with one another as well. I will be engaging with you on your posts. And that's the goal for this week. Okay, so take the time to do it. As you go through, if you find that it's actually really challenging to find your repeat customer rate or your first time purchasers, let's do some research on it, right? Like, how can you figure these numbers out? Because if your website doesn't natively offer you this data, Google Analytics might be a really good one for you to download. There's maybe certain CRMs have some tools, but it's worth paying a little bit of attention to figure out how you can track this. So, okay, you guys, if you have any questions, please put it in the group community, like drop it in the community, or you can email me and let's get after it. All right, thanks everyone. Talk to you next week.